Hey, hey,
What up, brother, mother?
how are ya?
Oh, I'm pretty bored. Not a lot going on. Kind of dumb.
Let me uh let me get my Facebook going here.
I'm gonna go live on Insta too, just to show love to each platform.
Love it. All right, we are. What's weird is when I put it on the iPad, it doesn't give me the ability to do a title.
Huh.
You know how you usually title your stream?
Yeah.
It doesn't allow me to do that.
You can't add it as like a caption.
Let me try. More ways to go live. No. That's all right. I'll figure it out another time, but it's interesting.
I can't record, by the way.
I'm recording, so I'll just send it to you.
That works.
Um, so I didn't get a chance to do it, but do you think we should make a closed Facebook group or a recurring event on Facebook? What would be the next step in your opinion?
I'd say probably just recurring event. It would probably be the easiest, cleanest way to do it.
Yep.
Because closed groups, that's kind of like you want that to be like a paywall type of thing.
Right.
For this, you want as many people coming as possible, you know?
And then just invite people that have watched in the past, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's really cool. I think this is the story I'll start with, because I love to tell my stories. Last time, I'll give you a quick update on hand sanitizer. So there are just a bunch of distilleries that I got in front of, and they're all making hand sanitizer. So it's going to do one of two things, or actually it's going to do two things, not even one of two things. It's going to keep their doors open through this, and it's going to create long-term purchasing relationships with people. So it is super cool what is happening. So I mean, it was just amazing. I was just talking to one of them that's making it this morning, and she said she had the discussion of potentially closing their doors if they didn't have this opportunity. I mean, it's amazing what is happening. So I mean, and they're starting to ship hand sanitizer as early as next week to the hospitals because the hospitals are running dangerously low. It's unbelievable. So here's the story I want to start with. So I'm working with a brand in Skaneateles, and it's a hemp farm that you and I have talked about. And one of the CEO, actually no, I think he considers him the CEO of that farm. He saw a post of one of his buddies from high school who is an artist. He lives very, very meekly. He just plays his guitar 3-4 nights a week. And he put on a post that was basically, I am wiped out for 6 months. I have no income. He goes, I literally don't know how I'm going to feed myself next week. So this guy sent me a screenshot of this musician's post. And he goes, we have to do something. We have to figure this out. We have to do something. So what we decided to do was, how a lot of artists are turning to Facebook Live or YouTube Live or something like that. He and I sat down over a brainstorming session. I said, these guys have to figure out Twitch. The reason they have to figure out Twitch is because Twitch is made for monetization. It is made for monetization. Facebook, there's a little bit of friction. You can tip somebody in like Facebook Messenger if they're doing a good job. On YouTube, I don't even know how to monetize YouTube at all. That's a question I have for you after this. Beth Ann, how are you? Hopefully you're doing okay. We're talking about monetizing potential side hustles. So we have a professional photographer here. What's that?
Raymores are on IG Live, by the way.
Awesome. Hi, Raymores. Hi, Pam and Herb. Beth Ann, this will be interesting for you potentially. She's a kindergarten teacher here in Casanova, and she's a wonderful photographer on the side. She's a professional photographer. So the conversation I was having with this group was, we got to figure out a way for these musicians to monetize Twitch and get on the platform. So we're working with a brand it's like a smoking accessory brand for like smokable flower and hemp and those kind of things.
Yep.
So what we're doing is we have just signed on our first artist to sponsor their channel for the next 60 days so that they can monetize what they're doing and sit on this platform and actually just sit there in their living room and strum and take virtual tips and virtual bits. They call them bits on Twitch, as you know. And they can actually put hand to mouth and make money at this point. So here's the cool part is that they are, in a year, mark my words, in a year, you're going to be able to sit down in your living room, open up a bottle of wine, and go to your TV, hook it up with your sound bar, and listen to any local musician that you want, anybody. Because if they do it well, they're going to learn how to monetize and potentially monetize it better than playing 4 to 5 gigs a week at bars and restaurants. It's unbelievable what's about to happen.
I feel like this whole thing is just throwing gasoline on the innovation fire in every way, shape, and form.
Yep.
It's crazy, dude.
So my question to you is, if you want to monetize the side hustle, which is basically you got pushed off the cliff, you need it to become your main hustle. My recommendation to people is Twitch. Where would you go and why?
I would go wherever I felt like I could build the biggest audience.
Okay.
Kind of building on what we talked about last week. To monetize, you need an audience, right?
Yeah.
I think so much of it has to be contextual to who your audience is going to be. Like if you're making money and you're a musician and you're playing, you know, bars in your hometown and you're playing old school classic rock music, I don't know how much of your people that are going to jive with that are on Twitch yet.
Yep.
You know? But, you know, we were talking just starting up. Could you do a closed Facebook group and say, you know, hey, you know, it's $5 a month. Hey, Jack, $10 a month, whatever, you know. One thing that I'm seeing here a lot, I'm very intrigued by, we have a local DJ here who does, like, he's you know, a traditional DJ, but also does trivia nights at bars and stuff like that.
Yep.
And one thing he's starting to do is he's starting to do virtual trivia nights.
That's a great idea.
Sponsored by whatever bar is that day of the week normally.
Yep.
And then, like, I was talking, like, you can almost take that a step further. Like, do you get your passcode for trivia night with your takeout order at that bar?
There you go.
And that way you're still doing everything, you know? So it's just one of those things where, like everything, there's 100 ways you can do it. What way is going to be, I think, the easiest, most frictionless way for you to do it? I think that's what you have to look at.
Yep.
And that's going to be different for everybody.
Right, exactly. Hey, Stacy, thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Based on what you do, who your audience is, what you're comfortable with starting out. Most importantly, what's going on out there.
Yep.
So if you're the kind of person like that, where you have recurring weekly or monthly gigs, collaborate with those bars and restaurants. They're hurting just as bad as you are. You know,
exactly.
Get like that, like we talk about. This time right now has never favored innovators and creatives more.
Yep.
You know, this is the time where you have to take it to that next level. We spent literally 3 hours yesterday afternoon tearing up all of those roadmaps we worked so hard on for clients and literally rewriting them for now.
Yep.
Having ideas, you know, like do our people at the incubator need to be doing virtual workshops and virtual office hours and virtual programming, which is super easy to do.
Yep.
You know, and then, like, it's been no joke, you know, how much restaurants have been hit, but just stuff like that. You know, how could you make it as easy as possible and create the most value?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that's first and foremost how you got to look at it.
So that's what it's all about, storytelling. We talk about this all the time. You know, Pam and Herb, I just got off the call with them about half an hour ago. And one of the things that they've been doing so well for 2 years is they've been storytelling, and they've been getting people to connect with their brand. Yep. So when everybody else gets pushed off the cliff, they have a couple of colleagues that are saying, buy one, get one, 50% off, you know, discount, 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 discount. But here's the punchline when it comes to discounting. Not everybody is motivated by the same thing. Just because you discount something does not mean you're going to sell more. And here's the other thing. When people get connected with your brand, Pam and Herb sell, they sell a product, that Fusion product. They sell a bottle of wine for $25. They're on the upper echelon for Finger Lakes wineries of price points. But because they tell the story properly, because they get people to buy into their brand, they can sell a bottle of wine for $25. So when all of their other contemporaries are discounting, trying to get people through the door to generate volume, they are held their price up here. Because here's the other punchline with this. The moment you start discounting your product over and over and over, you train your customers. You train your customers to wait. Mike, Michelle, thanks for joining. You train your customers to wait for you to discount. Then you cheapen your service or your product. That is the punchline for them. And that was kind of the unlock we had this morning. You know, it's like with you. If you said 50% off digital media for the next 6 months, and you did it over and over and over, people are gonna say, wait a minute, I'm not gonna pay full price for that. I'm just gonna wait until he discounts 50%. That's it. Yep. And it's harder than ever, especially in this new economy that we're gonna experience for the next 2-3 months.
And it's a dead end road too.
Yeah.
You know, it's the opposite of brand building, where if you're doing that, the longer you do it, the more lucrative it becomes.
Yep.
Discounting, there's a time and a place for it, but if your only strategy is to do buy one, get one, or 50% off, talk about diminishing returns.
Yeah.
You know, you got to double your business, if not more, just to break even if you're going to keep rolling like that.
Yep.
So that's just one of those things. And you could see it. I was talking about it with a client yesterday. You can see it. People out there have never been smarter.
Yep.
They know when you're doing it the right way. They know when you're not. Like the amount of people that now 2 weeks in are saying, hey, we've decided to close for the health and safety of our customers and staff. You decided to close because you're not doing enough business because you didn't innovate enough.
Correct.
Let's call it what it is.
Yep.
You know, and I think people see that. And I think too, there's a level of desperation that people will see.
Yep.
And it's just one of those things where it's easy as the marketing and branding guy to say that's the answer. But right now, more than ever, they're showing you that that's the answer.
Right.
The people that have invested that time and that energy and that effort into it are thriving right now. Forget surviving. Right. They're thriving. So it's just like, I think you're going to see, like, I know, like, we've had the most insane 3 days here as far as new client inquiries that, I kid you not, that we've had in 6 years.
It doesn't surprise me.
When you step back and you look at it, no, but like the whiteboard back there is chocked full of just people that I got to get back to and all that.
Yep. And
it's crazy. Just kind of we talked about last week. I try to touch base with 5 to 10 people a day. Just check in. How's it going? How you guys doing? You know, that's it. And it's weird. 3 people called me yesterday, assuming that we're like on the verge of going out of business because nobody can possibly pay us what they're paying us to do what we do in a time like this. And I'm like, dude, I got 20 minutes tops. Like, we're crazy. He's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
They thought I was joking for the first 10 minutes. So like, even that, like, it's just nuts. Even as we're seeing it, people still don't get it yet.
Yep.
It's wild to me.
And people have been pushed off the cliff. There's no going back now. There is no going back. And I know it took a global pandemic to make that happen, but you're either doing these things or you're not doing these things. You know, I mean, there's no middle. We talked about this last week. There's no middle ground anymore. You're either storytelling properly or you're not. You know, our buddy Kevin, who we gave concrete tactics to last week, he's watching. He sent me a message the next day going, it was unbelievable what you and Adam told me to do. It's just like, just keep doing what you're doing. Everybody on Facebook Live, please, this is interactive. If you have any questions like Kevin did last week, just head over, type them in my chat. We'll get them into the show for sure. So specifically, so I told you Beth Ann is a kindergarten teacher here in Cazenovia. She's an amazing photographer on the side. So what would be, let's just play it right out. So she does a lot of work, obviously, in the summertime when the kids are out of school, but she does like holiday packages, and she does like senior photos and personal branding photos, those kind of things. Rather than just taking beautiful photographs and putting them on her Facebook page, which she does a beautiful job of doing that. How can she go to that next level of storytelling? Because I know she's not a big fan of having herself in the photos, after the photo shoot. And I know her personally, I feel comfortable saying that. What else can she do to personally connect to potential future clients, continue to brand herself as the kindergarten photographer, or those kind of things?
That's going to be a tricky one. I think that's a situation where you're going to have to get real creative with it.
Right.
And, I think one thing, even depending on what type of photography you're looking to do, or like, do you have to look at other niche photography areas? Like, could you go and just scout out locations and backdrops for, graduation photo shoots, senior photo shoots, stuff like that, and then just put that out there?
It's a great idea.
Because that's one thing you see everybody that's doing these like family fall photo shoots or family summer. They're always like out in a field. They're at like an old barn and stuff like that.
Yep.
So could you just use this time to build that portfolio out there? Use Facebook polls. Hey, what do you like better for a senior photo shoot? Anything like that. I think we're in a spot right now where everybody has to kind of look 2 or 3 levels beyond what they do every day.
Yep.
You and I are very lucky. We could do what we do anytime, anywhere, more or less. A lot of people can't. Like, a photographer is a great example. Hey, Emma, people are not going to come hang out close to you so you can take their picture.
Right.
They're just not right now. So what kind of things can you do that you wouldn't have time normally?
Yep.
That's going to augment that, and that's going to help that.
Okay.
So I think that would be great. I think it's weird giving your shit away right now, or like at least the first 60% of it, I think is a great strategy.
Yep.
Like, you do workshops on how to do at-home photo shoots with your kids with an iPhone 10.
Yes.
Here's 4 things that you don't know you could do photography-wise with your iPhone 10.
Yep.
Something.
That would be incredible. You took the words out of my mouth. I think the more you can give away without feeling though that you're taking money out of your pocket, because you're not. Because here's what happens. I had the same conversation with a mentor of mine. I give away all of my stuff for free. If you want to know how to put together an Instagram story properly, I will tell you how to do it. If you want to do a proper LinkedIn post and how to tag, I will tell you how to do it. And my mentor came back to me, he goes, "Don't you feel concerned that you're giving away the farm, that they're going to take your business?" No. Why am I not concerned that somebody's going to take all of my knowledge and apply it? Because here's the deal. They're not going to do the hard work day after day. They're going to tail off because it's hard. They're going to tail off because they're not seeing results. They're going to, all of those reasons. That's why you and I give away all of our information. So for Beth Ann, for her photography business, the best way to get out of your iPhone 11, these are the things you can do. Here's how to simply and properly edit a photo. Do it live on Twitch, share your screen, and say, here are the programs I use. Here's for your home photography what you can do. And here's some photo shot ideas during the apocalypse. I think those, and then putting those on LinkedIn with a little bit of a backstory, putting those on Instagram, IGTV, streaming those live on either a Zoom call or, you can even do LinkedIn 10-minute videos. It's just, it's over and over. I love your idea about the scouting locations though. Here are the top 10 locations in Central New York to do your senior photo shoot. Boom. Top 10 locations to do a family photo shoot in Central New York. Boom. Over and over and over. Then you become the go-to person for all the business that you want down the line.
You quite literally become the expert, as my main man Tom Klink would say. Shout out to the Klinkster. But no, I think that's it. This is the time where you have time to do all of that extra stuff.
Right.
And weirdly, for as much as we've been doing it, literally showing people exactly and letting them behind the curtain. And here's what we do. You can go do it.
Mm-hmm.
That has weirdly, and like not weirdly, it's pretty obvious when you break it down, been the biggest demonstrator of our value ever.
Yep.
I had a new, I'm not, I guess not a new meeting, a secondary meeting with what would be a new client, that someone that we work with now. And I literally broke down, I literally gave them the top 6 ideas I do for their business right now to deal with this. They're like, that makes so much sense. And they're like, cool, go do it.
Go do it.
How would you do it? And I would, like, I would do this, because like you break it down. Okay, you have 4 customer groups, so I would do these 3 ideas per customer group. So you need 1 campaign per idea per group.
Yep.
And map out the content for that. Then you got to go take the content, and you got to have a posting schedule, and then have a targeted plan.
Yep.
And they're like, holy fuck, you do all of that? Yeah.
And then you have that content, when you have that content of top 10 places to take a senior photo, and this year notwithstanding, I understand we have to punt this year, but next year you could sit down in the next 2 weeks and go on YouTube and say best Facebook ad practices, and you can run an awareness campaign in a 25-mile radius around Syracuse, targeting that content to people that have high school seniors for next year.
Oh my gosh, so easily. You know, and that's the kind of thing too, where I'm going through it and just talking with people right now, and the amount of people that are almost just still in shock or just paralyzed, where they, because it was me for about 6 hours 2 Mondays ago. I'm like, holy fuck, is anybody going to be able to afford to pay us to do what we do?
Yep.
But then you take a deep breath and you look at it, and I'm like, this is exactly the time they should be paying us to do what we do.
Yep.
The amount of attention that is on all of these things is absurd.
Yep. Like
absolutely banana land. So like looking at that, if Beth Ann is her name?
Yep, Beth Ann.
If Beth Ann did that over the next 2 weeks and put it out there and just took gorgeous photos of places for, you know, senior photo shoots, for engagement photo shoots, for everything. People have nothing to do right now but go on and look at those and tag their friends who have juniors in high school for next year, or even whatever this year ends up looking like. That is such a pipeline. It's crazy.
Yep.
And that's where, like, if you can take time to kind of teach yourself all of this, like right now on paper, you and I are just sitting still talking to a computer.
Yep.
But we're on a Zoom call that you're recording. You're on Facebook Live. I shared it on my Facebook, and we're on Instagram Live.
Yep.
So that's going to be, and then the show is going to go on YouTube in about 2 hours.
Yep.
And then Instagram TV after that. So
and podcast.
So for a half hour, 45 minutes, that's going to be however many pieces of content that you're going to be relevant. If somebody's on YouTube, cool, that's there. If they're sitting on their at-home lunch break right now and they're following me on Instagram, they're boom. They, like, you know what I mean? Yep. That's where it's just leveraging all of this stuff that we have is crazy.
Yep.
Especially in this time, because we talk a lot about how in the world of digital media and communications, everything is so new that nobody knows anything. Multiply that by 1,000,000. And that's where we're at now. So there is such an opportunity to be a thought leader in literally whatever you want.
Yep.
You just have to go do it.
Yep. You just have to, everything is on YouTube that you need to know. Everything. And you just need to sit down and do the work. So Beth Ann, I hope that helps you. I know you didn't specifically ask a question, and I apologize I used you as an example, but I know you love this stuff. So my buddy Kevin, who hopped in last week, he was the guy that's trying to monetize his personal brand, doing the Daily Do-Over. Said, I can attest, day 36 coming up in about 40 minutes. This week, listen to this. So he goes live. He goes 8 minutes. He does this 8 minutes every single day at different walking trails in and around Central New York. Just last week, 4,100 people he reached, 1,100 engagements, 1,100 engagements, following a dude that is walking around Baltimore Woods and Marcellus.
Yep.
That is insane. Because here's what's also happening. Not only are people figuring out what the new normal is, they're also figuring out what their new habits are. When people get latched onto your content right now, chances are they're going to continue to consume your content post-apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you, I have watched less TV and less movies than ever before in my life over the last 3 weeks. It's been more of this. It's been more of educating myself on YouTube. It's making sure the kids are getting their work done. It's all of those things. But the things that I'm consuming are going to be the things that I'm going to continue to consume in a few weeks, hopefully when this all clears up.
Yeah, the biggest struggle that you're going to have when you're trying to build any kind of brand, personal, business, client stuff, whatever, is getting people's attention.
Yep.
Shit is so noisy and life is so busy that getting somebody to sit still and watch your Facebook live stream or watch your YouTube show or listen to your podcast is hard because there's a million things on that list in front of you. But right now, guess what just happened to the supply graph of attention across the world? So this is your time. And then this is when you get discovered. This is when people latch on. This is when people find you. If you're like, I think restaurants are top of everybody's list as far as what's going to happen.
Yep.
If you get on somebody's radar with your new takeout program, and maybe they weren't a regular customer before, but you make them one, like everything is an opportunity right now.
Yep.
And I want to shake some people because and I get it, because at the same time, opportunity is always scary. The bigger the opportunity, the bigger the risk for loss, 9 times out of 10. So I understand that. But like, what's your alternative?
Right.
Sit there
and it's the this is my favorite one, sitting around wrangling your hands. I'll tell you a quick story. So I have a direct-to-consumer expert down in New York City by the name of Nick. Great guy. He's the direct-to-consumer expert. He was one of the guys that was behind Hint Water. You ever seen Hint?
Yes.
In stores? He's got the clear label, nice blueberry, lemon, things like that. Point is, all he talks about on Twitter is being the direct-to-consumer guy on Twitter. 24 years old, smarter than a whip. I went down to New York last year and just hit him up on Twitter. We had a relationship, and we had a matcha in Washington Square together and just chilled, just chopped up business.
The lavender one you sent me, I remember.
Yeah, exactly right. So he has taken the time to put in the work and build a library of content to become the direct-to-consumer guy on Twitter. So he took this opportunity, going back to what we talked about last week. Everybody has a zero inbox right now. Everybody. Whether it be on LinkedIn or Instagram DMs or whatever it is. He reached out via email. He did a cold email to Mark Cuban. Said, Mark, here's what I have going on. I see that you've been super aggressive on responding to this crisis. You've been helping people out, giving people value. Would you come on my podcast? 7 minutes, boom, done. In 2 minutes, he got a response. One word from Mark Cuban, yes. He goes, yes. So he's going to have Mark Cuban on his podcast next week because he laid the groundwork of content, because he story told properly, and because he had the audacity to reach out and ask the question. Mark Cuban is going to blow his podcast up next week.
1,000%. But I think that speaks to the value of putting in that monotonous, non-return delivering work. Whereas if he didn't have that, and Mark Cuban went and looked at his profile, and he had 72 followers, and he had 4 posts in the last 6 months, he's not getting that response.
Yep.
So like, that's where just straight opportunity and what life looks like out there, people have no clue, man. It's crazy.
You got to show your face. Whether you like to or not, you have to show your face and be real about this. It's never been more important to tell an authentic story than it does now. The more authentic you can be right now. Okay? So you want authentic? Hang on. You want authentic? Hang on. Watch. I have a sink full of dishes. Check this out. I have a sink full of dishes. My house is a mess. Watch. My house is a mess, right? So what I did, my house is a mess right now. Just like everybody's house is a mess right now, right? But behind me, I cleaned. I cleaned just this area because I know it was going to be on the show. The rest of my house is a disaster right now. But guess what? I don't care, because I know that this is providing value to somebody, because guess what? People have already jumped in the chat and told us, incredible job. I'm going to use those ideas. I'm going to go do that and grow my business. My kids are upstairs playing Fortnite right now, which they're probably not supposed to be doing. But you know what? For this half an hour or 30 minutes, it gives you and I a little bit of quiet time to generate what we've decided to do with our own personal brands. That's it. Be more authentic. Talk about what you're feeling, what your anxieties are, and what you're looking for. But don't waste people's time. If you're in it for the right reason, people are going to figure it out like that. People's radars are getting very, very sharp in this time. The moment they feel sold to or sold a BS product or story, they're going to turn all of that off, and they're not coming back to what you're doing.
And then you're dead forever.
Then you're dead forever.
Yep. That's where, like, it's crazy. Just like, you just like, it just do it. Yo, Trey's in the chat. What up, Trey?
We've got a lot of people in the chat today. This is a great format. I love it.
I'm on board with this, man. No, it's just like anything B2B, especially.
Right.
Like we're like literally me just like hitting people up, one line in the subject, one line in the email, like, hey, like, are you guys good? Like, how are you handling everything?
Right.
That has led to just ridiculous opportunities for us, because those guys know me and they know, like I'm not trying to sell them anything, but when you think psychologically, like, those are people that know us. We've had conversations about what we do. It's probably been in the back of their mind where it's hovering between 6 and 11 on their list of priorities that they're going to do.
Right.
And just that one gesture of just reaching out and being like, hey man, like, are you good? That vaults you up to 1.
Because you're being human. You're connecting with somebody on a human level. People buy from people. People don't buy from stores. You know, I don't walk into a car dealership and say, I'm going to buy this Jeep because I like your building. No, why do I buy all of my cars from Charlie Caprara? Because he's a good dude and he gives me a fair price and he treats me right. You know, yep. I showed up and bought my car from him last time. I didn't even have my trade-in on the property. He goes, Ben, you're good for it. Don't worry about it. Let's look up the number.
Yep.
I'm going to buy all of my cars from Charlie Caprara from now on because he gave me a trade-in sight unseen. He goes, I trust you. It's going to be in the condition that you tell me.
Yep.
So if you want to sell things, open up your phone, text every single person that's in your phone and say, you good? Mm-hmm. With no strings attached.
That's it. Trey just commented in the chat. Amazing how at the end of the day, just being a good person first works wonders. That's why, like, I always get a kick out of when people watch these, and I'll get first of all, if you're watching, just fucking leave a comment. Don't text me after you see it.
I got 3 screens going. Don't
like, just like, we're all friends here, but they'll text me after and they're like, dude, that's so motivational. You're so right. I'm like, it's literally kindergarten. That's what it is. If you just did the shit they taught you in kindergarten, you would be dominating right now.
Yep.
It's why I literally wrote the words good, honest marketing in our fucking logo. That's all it is. Like, it's like, people think that, like, we're like doing all of this fancy, like, targeted stuff and that, like, you know, you're like working all this stuff behind the scenes. Like, no. Just, it's crazy. And like, everyone's like now, everyone's like, fuck, what do we do? That's what you do.
You do that.
You know, and it works.
Yep.
And then people think that it's just this like fucking secret formula that nobody knows about, and that it's all super expensive targeted digital advertising. That's very important. I'm not saying don't do that. But like, ugh.
But
And
you tell me this all the time. You tell me this all the time because I'm guilty of it too. I want to get to the secret sauce like that all the time. You tell me this all the time. Since we've started this show, I've done this. How many times have I asked you, when can we start targeting? When can we start I've asked you no less than 3 times, 5 times, 6 times, because I want to get to that, because I know that is what's going to eventually fold up and put it in my pocket, right? Because we want to sell more stuff. You and I together, co-branded, want to sell more stuff. I know that when we do this targeting and take these little sound clips and sound bites and target the executives and the people, the decision makers in Central New York and in the Southern Tier, it will work. And what do you tell me every single time?
Not yet.
Not yet. Why? And why do you tell me that?
Because we're not ready. Because what we do and doing it the right way, 6 months from now, you and I are going to make a video where we literally outline exactly what we do for people.
Yep.
We're going to have a Zoom call like this, and we're going to have people jump in that we've worked with, that we've delivered real results for, and stuff like that. And the idea is that's going to be video number 46. But in order to make video 46, we literally have to make 1 through 45 where we're laying this foundation.
Yep.
Right now, it's the rabbit hole for people to go down. Yep. So by the time, now obviously everybody's not going to sit there and watch 1 through 45. I hope you do. You should do it. But as long as there's enough there where you can check the boxes of these guys know their shit.
Yep.
I believe they can do it. And they're genuinely good dudes and I trust them. Mm-hmm. Once you invest the time to check all those boxes off, there is no sale. There is no advertising. There is no anything. And the other thing is anytime you're your own best customer first, mm-hmm. everything else gets real easy.
Yep.
When I can sit down, like it's nice enough being 5-6 years in, whatever we are now, where we have enough examples where I could use real life client stuff. Well, we test everything out on ourselves first.
Right.
Like over Christmas, when I'm like, we got to get better with Google and LinkedIn and YouTube. Guess what I did? I spent 60 days doing that for us. Yep. You know, and it's just one of those things where, like we always say it, the longer you can go without asking somebody for anything, the more they're going to say yes.
Yep.
In life, in business, anywhere.
My mom just commented. She said she got a call. So she's up in Rome. She said she got a call from her YMCA, her own YMCA, checking in to see how she's doing. So her gym called her. She said she loves the place and she'll be back. She knows now that the Y cares about her. So there is somebody at the YMCA with a database of membership information that is literally calling people one by one by one, making sure they're okay. So you get a call like that, you're not going anywhere else. Because here's what people are doing. They're sitting home comparing gym rates. They're saying, okay, is Planet Fitness going to be a little bit cheaper when this thing opens up? Or is the Y going to be a little bit cheaper? Or what kind of amenities do they have? That's what people are doing. It is always a good idea.
Well, not only that, not only is your mom going to be a customer for life, guess what she's done over the last 24 hours? Everybody that she's talked to, when we are checking in with one another more than we ever have, you're never going to believe what the Y did today.
Yep.
Yep. And then they're all going to tell 4 people. All of the bad stuff, this is a good example. All of the bad stuff that you're seeing about how fast coronavirus spreads, you can flip that. That's also how good or how bad your actions are going to spread. Mm-hmm. So like that for YMCA is going to spread like the coronavirus. Everybody is going to infect 4 people with that good news, and then they're going to tell 4, and then they're going to tell 4.
Yep.
Straight up. So what is your epicenter of that? What are you putting out there? Are you doing the same shit as always and hoping for the best? No one's talking about that.
Right.
you completely revamped your whole menu for new takeout stuff that's affordable for families, people are going to spread that like wildfire.
Yep.
And they are. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you're in control of that. You are writing your own book. It doesn't seem like we're in control. It doesn't seem like you're writing your own book right now.
Yeah.
But you are. The fact that, like, don't tell me that people are, I know some people are freaking out. I know some people are worried about spending money, but like, don't tell me that people are shutting down and not doing anything.
Right.
If I could show you my inbox and my phone log for the last 36 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, so we'll do last call for questions on Facebook and Instagram. I have one more question for Adam that's been really, really top priority. Aaron, how are you? Ed, thanks for joining. Man, a lot of people checking in. I appreciate that. So people say, okay, I'm starting to figure out where, what kind of content I want to create. I'm figuring out, I really like that analogy that you wrote. Write your own book. You're writing your own story. So the question that I have is, what platform do I use and why? And I'll give you my answer first, and I'll give you a second to think about your answer. When somebody asks, and I get this all the time, okay, I understand that I'm a photographer, that I should be giving out the 10 best tips of how to most use your iPhone 11 right now, because everybody's watching that. Or the 10 best ways to monetize your personal brand, like my buddy Kevin, but where am I putting that information? Everybody asks me, where do I put all of that content? And I say, you know what? Start with what you know. Start with what you're comfortable with for a couple different reasons. Number one, chances are if you're selling something, you're probably selling to your own. Aaron, how are you, dude? Appreciate it. You're probably selling to somebody that looks like you. Probably. I'm not saying always, but probably. Start with what you're comfortable with and start storytelling on that platform. It's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to get into a rhythm. It's going to be part of your weekly schedule. That's going to make it easier. And number two, you're going to get small wins. The minute you get small wins, Kevin's a perfect example with when he texted us earlier. He's starting to find traction because he's showing up every single day. So that's what I say is start with something you know, get those small wins, and then it's the 80-20 rule, right? It's the 80% doubling down on what you're doing. Spend that extra 20% that you have researching the new platform and dabbling. What is your advice on that?
I couldn't agree much more with that. The pie in the sky answer is do everything. It's the reason that this video is going to end up on 6 different platforms by the time the day's over.
Right.
But to go from 0 to that just isn't realistic for a lot of people.
Right.
So I think starting out with what's comfortable and what you know and what you're familiar with, even mechanics wise, I think that makes a lot of sense because momentum begets momentum in a lot of this. You know, we deal with a lot of people when we first start with them. Start with what you know. As long as it's somewhat compatible with who your end customer is going to be, great.
Yep.
But I think the thing with that is you just got to be real disciplined with committing to that at 20, where it's easy, once you kind of start to have success on one platform, a lot of people kind of go down one of two roads. They go, okay, cool, I got this. What's next?
Right.
Or they find a new comfort zone and that's where they plateau.
Yep.
So I think that is 1,000,000% the strategy. It's just, you gotta stay disciplined and make yourself continue to push and try new things.
Yep.
Because that's the thing with all this, it's all self-discipline. Nobody's there to tell you, okay, it's week 3, we got to add Instagram now. Okay, it's week 4, we got to add Instagram stories. Okay, it's week 7, time to tackle LinkedIn. There's no textbook for this.
Right.
But you just have to attack it with that in mind where, okay, this is step 1 of 14. And we can't stop at step
1. What last question. What platform are you most excited about right now with your own brand? Why?
LinkedIn.
Why?
Because it's the Wild West. Everything. TikTok too really excites me. I've been spending a lot of time on that over the last week and a half. But what excites me most about LinkedIn is the same thing that just excites me most about my business and my industry, period.
Yep.
90% of the people that do what I do on LinkedIn are just, I don't want to say the word that I'm thinking.
Yep.
They're just gaslighters. There's no substance to it. There's just nothing. They're writing articles or putting posts on respecting the platform with the same copy and pasted text and photo from 4 other platforms.
Yep.
So that excites me, just the mere fact that nobody's really doing it right, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And just the other thing is anytime it's so new and there's such opportunity for growth, and especially for us, I mean, the entire sales cycle and psychology for us is all B2B stuff.
Right.
That's what LinkedIn's tailor-made for.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just that fact that I know people are in that frame of mind, and just how much on the nerdy side of things, how much they've amped up their insights and analytics and trackable stuff. I'm super psyched on that. TikTok's a fucking animal.
It's okay. So here's a question. How do you find people on TikTok?
So here's the thing, man. You can't really. You can, but it reminds me a lot of Snapchat when it started.
Yep.
Where there wasn't really a discovery within the app. You had to see it somewhere else or have somebody tell you, like, this dude's hilarious on Snap, go follow him.
Yep.
And you would do it. TikTok feels a lot like that. What excites me about it is that just the potential to literally go from 0 to 1 million is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it, the whole app itself is almost literally a roadmap to how to put out content that makes sense.
Yep.
Like you see the same stuff over and over and over and over again, but someone's a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. So you know exactly what to do and exactly where the attention's going.
Yep.
So you just get to practice that and get better at that. But some of the numbers, you're like, good night. So like, it's tough because like for like our local people, it doesn't make a lot of sense yet.
Yep.
But as we're starting to get into more regional and even national brands and companies, that gets real exciting real fast.
Yep.
And just, I try to teach people how to, post on Instagram. The thought of getting them to do like choreographed dances on TikTok is intriguing to me. I'm excited for that. But those two for immediate, I'd say next 6 months to 12 months, LinkedIn for sure.
Yep.
I mean, Facebook's going to own TikTok in 12 months, probably just the way that they seem to operate. But actually, I'm excited about both of those.
No, that's cool. I'm going to echo your sentiment on one of them. I think LinkedIn is by far, for business development purposes, LinkedIn is the best thing right now. I mean, there is no other platform in the world where the people that you're trying to reach literally tell you where they are. You can have access. You can have direct access to the contacts that you want to do business with on a platform. You're not going to get their Facebook profile. Chances are they're probably not going to respond to you if they're even on Twitter. Instagram is a very private thing. TikTok, none of the executives or anything like that are going to be on TikTok yet. But for what you and I are doing, eventually I see LinkedIn potential ads being a monster of targeted stuff for what we're doing. The other thing I'm super excited about, and this is my call to action, just I want to put it on video, is SoundCloud and podcasting. I think that is a space. We talked a little earlier today about people's habits, about how they're going to adopt new habits now. I think the podcasting and the distribution of content is going to be, that's that passive listening that you and I have talked about in the past. The passive absorption of content is going to be huge, not just for us, but for the photographer that wants to give me audibly the top 10 tips of how to use your iPhone 10 properly. Or here are the top 10 photo editing apps that I have on my Mac. Or Kevin about, here's my mental health tip of the day. Those kind of things, and just rip it out of there and just put it onto those platforms. That's the part that I am absolutely most excited about. Personally, I feel this is fun. This is fun for us. The putting together the content is fun for us, the video end of it. I think once you and I figure out the podcasting portion of this, that's when this thing's going to be a rocket ship.
That's a whole other universe. Yeah. I mean, I think that like it goes back to like one of the consistent themes of the show is it's just about how do you fit into your end customer's life.
Yep.
And I think that that's one of the benefits of it is for podcasting that lets you fit in with a lot more people as they're doing a lot more stuff.
Right.
You know, and because it is so passive, I don't have to be in front of my computer. I can be doing something else on my phone, and that's in the background. So like that obviously is super beneficial.
Yep.
You know, but I think that that's the big thing. So like for me personally, I don't even listen to a single podcast. If I do, it's on YouTube on my computer.
Yep.
In the background because I'm always fucking here and it's always open.
Yep.
So that works for me. You know, somebody else that's on the go or, you know, whatever. So that's where I just think that, and that's where we're going back to the 80-20 thing. If you can make that more 70-30 or even 60-40 and you're investing 40% of your time and energy into new things, you might just stumble on some stuff
right
that you didn't even anticipate or plan on, you know? So that's something that I think is going to be big as we kind of all figure this out. Real quick, the Raymores asked, we're talking about a lot of B2B stuff. As far as business to consumer, what's the most exciting platform? I still think Facebook.
Yeah.
By proxy, Instagram, just because you have the ability to target so tightly and so granularly. Where like we talked about last week with like the Yankees stuff, and you can literally create your own niche audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to be the official wine drinking experts of Yankee fans,
yep.
we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just think that that's the answer there. You know, and then Instagram, obviously there's so much overlap with Facebook and Instagram that like, if you can do one-on-one, you can do it on the other. I think that that's the go-to.
I couldn't agree more. And that's what we said on our call this morning was, you know, we didn't say it verbatim, but it was, thank goodness we've been putting the work in over the last 2 years.
I think a lot of people are saying that right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are saying, holy shit, I wish I was.
Right. Right. But here's the deal. You know, 3 years from now, unfortunately, if we're ever in this situation again, 3 years from now, if you took this opportunity now, if you took these 2 to 3 weeks to learn now, to put yourself out there, to be like a Kevin and go live 5 minutes every day. We all have 5 minutes. You and I talked about this a few shows ago. We all have 5 minutes to talk about what we want to accomplish. If you start now and the apocalypse happens again in 3 years, where another cliff everybody gets pushed off another cliff, you're gonna say, man, I'm really glad I took those 3 weeks during coronavirus to tell my story and write my own book. You have that ability to do it right now.
Well, and here's the thing I'll add on to that. There's a much slower cliff that's happening, whether we see another pandemic or not. Like this is just everybody being not necessarily at home, but online, doing everything digitally from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming, and it's coming fast. Like I was giving my dad shit the other day. My dad, for the longest time, was your quintessential boomer dad. Didn't do anything online. Thought that if he put his credit card in, the government was going to steal it or somebody was going to steal it. Nothing. And that was like as recently as 5 years ago.
Yep.
He hasn't bought a Christmas or a birthday gift in person since.
Yep.
Discovered Amazon and it's been life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, guess which direction that trend's going in?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like right now you're getting a taste of what life looks like having to operate completely digitally.
Yep.
We're taking one step closer to that cliff every day.
Yep.
So any work that you put in now to be able to adapt to what's going on, that is 1,010% going to help you in the future.
No question.
Being necessary.
Yep. If you're an artist, set up a camera, do a live painting on Twitch, and share it on Facebook. If you're an artist, do the same thing. Share it on Instagram. Do it on Instagram. Do an Instagram live. Have 3. I'm looking at your rig right there. I can fit another screen in here. So next week it's going to be Zoom call, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. Just generating content on all the platforms that we know are important. I have my iPad sitting on a box, propped up with a little book. I have my Mac sitting on a box, sitting on a wine book here. I'm in my kitchen, and guess what? This is going to be the new norm from now on, because people are reacting to it. They're sending me messages saying, "This is exactly the kind of stuff we need to push us."
That photo needs to be on Instagram today, by the way.
Which one?
Just your setup and what you were looking at, because I think people will really get a kick out of that.
I'm doing it right now. Watch this. Here's my rig right here. There you go. Perfect. Hang on, can you see it? There's my rig.
That's amazing. I love that so much.
All right, dude. I appreciate you. This has been a lot of fun, and more importantly, people are getting value out of it. I've already seen no less than a dozen people that have joined this thing, and are more importantly creating, whether they're comfortable doing it or not. And every time they do it, they send me a message and they go, "I'm more comfortable every time I do it." So it's helping people, and that's all that matters.
1,000,000%. This is going to be, there's been like 3 or 4 episodes where I text you immediately after. I'm like, that one was fucking good.
Yep.
Like, and I just, it's such the right thing to do. And it's so much fun too, that I couldn't be more excited about this, dude. It's going to be big.
Good. All right, man. Have a great weekend. I'm going to finish my Facebook Live. Thank you to everybody for checking out on Facebook. That was super cool.
Go on Instagram too. Appreciate you guys.